Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This one we're talking about risk transfer, what it is, why it's important, all the emotions behind it. So stick with me in this one and this is what we can get into. So as I mentioned in the intro, obviously this is a video about risk transfer and what it is, why it's important. But before I do that, I just want to say make sure you stick around to the end of this video. So I do have an important announcement to make for future videos coming forward, and I want to see what your thoughts are. So yeah, make sure you stick around, and obviously do like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Blah. Let's get on with the video. So risk transfer, what is it? Risk transfer is really simple. It's transferring risk from, for example, for the red to the green. So we want to limit our losses and we want to move on and get higher gains going forward. Now, obviously I'll talk about a few different ways that you can do it in a second, but I also want to say why it's important. It's important to do this because sometimes it can be quite emotional when investing. You know, it's hard not to get invested into a stock that you're so bullish on for future years, and it's hard to see it get hammered, shall we say. And then we want to kind of de-risk that and make sure we're taking all the precautions that we can to move forward in a more positive sense, if you see what I mean. So a quick example of that would be NEO. So I've had people buy NEO around 50, 60, and obviously it shot down recently all down to 32, 33 kind of range. And obviously that's hit people emotionally. Some people just turn off the devices, which is the best point. Well, not turn it off, but turn off the app or delete the app or whatever, and just come back to it in a couple of months and check back in then. But for people who are kind of interested in the market, they look at it quite a lot, and they basically want to come up with a strategy with risk transfer to kind of limit that risk. I have talked a lot so far, so let's get into some examples. Example number one is green to red. So this is as simple as moving your stocks that are green into your stocks that are red. But don't do this with every single stock, only do this with your kind of high conviction stocks. For example, I have a screenshot here of my phone, and I'm looking here that I have a high conviction in NEO, and they're currently 6% down at the time of recording. And obviously I also have a high conviction in Palantir, but they're doing very well. They're flying at 17%. So one of the things I could do if I was in a position to, I've already done this, so I'm not going to obviously do it now. So yes, what I could do is take from the green, from Palantir, and put some into NEO. I'm not saying the whole thing, just partially. So then what that would do is, because your high conviction play is NEO, for me personally, obviously yours might be different, I would then take some from Palantir, so I'd maybe sell 10 shares for example, and then I would then convert that into NEO, and that would really balance my portfolio in such a way that it will be beneficial for the future. So we're making that red NEO that you think will kind of increase over the next years, months, whatever, and it will basically come back to zero quicker. And this is basically risk transfer in a way that you're in your high conviction plays. And this plays quite nicely into example number two, and that's averaging down. So you're basically kind of doing that with that, if that makes sense. So you're moving from the green, Palantir, as we discussed, and we're going to move it into NEO, which will then bring the price down. Now if we move into NEO, my current price here is 39.73. Now, obviously, if I was to put money into NEO from Palantir, that would bring the price down. Not by a lot, but then, as you can see, it will bring the price down, and then when the stock goes up, it will get there quicker, and therefore the risk has transferred. Another thing you could do is move from red to red. I did not want that bike to go past then. You could move from red to red, and this is basically alluding to holding a stock too long could lose potential elsewhere, for example. So you can see here also on my screenshot, I've got Nano Dimension, which is only 2% down, and then I've also got IZEA, which is 41% down. Now, depending on my conviction levels with these stocks, and I want you to look at your stocks like this as well, I could then move some from Nano Dimension, because I'm not going to lose a lot if I sell part of that stock. So for example, I could sell 20 shares of Nano Dimensions, again as an example, and then I could move in whatever the same value amount money wise into IZEA, and then that would bring that price down as we spoke about before. So let's jump into IZEA. It would move the price down from 458, as you can see my average price at the moment, and it would move it down to whatever, how much it would move it down to, maybe 420, 430 as an example. And you can see then when IZEA comes back up, it will come back quicker. And that's another way of transferring risk, if you see what I mean. And this is all down to holding a stock that you could be gaining somewhere else pretty quickly. Now, talking about the red to red kind of strategy, shall we say, I'd probably only do this for my high conviction plays, in my opinion. So I would, for example, go from Nano Dimension. As I say, it's not a high conviction play, so it's only 2% down. So I'd take some off the table there, and then I'd perhaps put something into Tesla and NIO, which for me are my higher conviction plays. As you can see here from my portfolio allocations, it's a lot higher in Tesla and NIO, and you can see Nano Dimension kind of down there. And you could do it that way as well. Now, the benefits you'll see of this is obviously higher returns quicker, obviously if the stock moves in the right direction, and also it makes you feel a bit safer with your high conviction stocks. So for example, if I have more in NIO, then going forward in the years to come, because I'm holding this for 3, 4, 5 plus years, then it will kind of have that extra edge as it moves forward. And it also means I can save my money cash wise on the side for a different stock, because I've already got that amount that I wanted to put into NIO already in there, because I've risk transferred it from a different stock. Now, I hope you're keeping up with this. Maybe watch this video a couple of times. I've never been fantastic at explaining things, but I like to get all the information I can out there as quickly and as efficiently as possible, so you can kind of take it in however you want to take it in. But yeah, I do apologise if this is a bit of a mess. But yeah, let's carry on. So the next example of risk transfer is sector rotation. Now, this is all about, so for example, tech stocks have been hit recently, the last 3 or 4 months, and the industrials have kind of done quite well. So the Caterpillar, the banks and all of that, because they're more secure and they're more, governmental based or whatever. But they've been rising. So what you could do is maybe at the beginning of this correction or a little bit into it, you would then de-risk from that point of view. So you take the money out of the tech stocks that have only been hit maybe maximum 5-10%, and then you would move it into the bank stocks, your Caterpillar, your building ones, and then they would be rising. So that's what we've seen quite a bit of in the last 3 or 4 months, at least in my opinion. And you can see that kind of sector rotation. So that's another thing to think about. I'm not too into that personally, just because I'm into my tech stocks, I'm into my high growth kind of stocks, and I just can't be bothered to kind of think about what stocks to go into as a sector rotation and then come back into it. But I do see it as being an option for people. Maybe you should look into that. It's obviously up to you. So the last example I'm going to show you today is the same industry rotation. Now, it sounds a little bit confusing, but it's not. It's really simple. So say, for example, you have some money in Tesla and they're down quite a bit, so maybe 5-10%, and you want to kind of de-risk them, but you're not sure how. You could then go into the same industry. So you're looking at things like NIO, GM, XPeng, that kind of thing. So you'd probably identify the safest stock that would then return back up with the industry as a whole, because we all know that industries tend to kind of move together generally. So then you have your money in Tesla, then you move it into NIO, for example. So you've got NIO, thank you, and so you've got Tesla sitting about $650 or something like that. The gain that you're going to get from that going on is going to be less than NIO, which is the value of about $35, if you see what I mean. So if it moves with the sector, you're going to see higher gains with NIO from a percentage point of view. So you can kind of de-risk in that way too, and risk transfer in that way. So just to summarise that point, you're moving money from Tesla to NIO in search for the higher gain potentials percentage-wise. And then you'll see quicker growth in that respect. So with this video I've given you today, I've basically kind of tried to control your emotions within your investing to get through the red times by risk transferring, using the examples as I said. I'll pop them up on the screen as well for you. But by using these methods, you can really kind of sleep well at night, getting through the red days, the red weeks, the red months, because we've seen that in the last few months, and it hasn't been easy. And obviously we are looking to go into greener times, especially with the economy and everything like that coming back to normal, fingers crossed. So yes, it's important that we know how to risk transfer. We don't have to do it. We can just sit there and hold. That's just as fine. And if we do have a potential runner and we do see some gains, don't be afraid to take some profits. That's perfectly normal. It's okay to take profits, and at the end of the day, everyone wants profits, everyone needs profits. So it's okay to take them at 10-20%. You don't always have to keep looking at Twitter and all this kind of stuff where everyone's like, I need to take out about 100 and 200%. That's just not realistic. The S&P, the general kind of economy kind of rises about 7-10% a year. So if you're making 10% on one single trade, I mean, that's pretty good. at the end of the day. So yes, set yourself up for the future with potential gains. I hope you did like this video. It was a bit of a mess, but you know, maybe you took some value from it. If you did, leave a comment down below. Let me know what kind of value you got from it. I would really love to see it, really love to read it. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you today. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel for more videos like this on investing and productivity, but mostly investing. So yes, thank you very much guys. See you in the future. Take care, stay safe. So as promised, I did make you wait to the end of the video, and I do have an announcement to make, and that is I want to start a challenge with eToro. I want to put in some money and I want to see how far I can get to a certain point. So I'm thinking about $250, because it converts it to dollars in eToro, to maybe $2,500. I want to see how quickly I can get up to $2,500. Now, give me a comment down below if you like this kind of challenge, like the idea of it. And I will only do it if 3 people comment down below eToro, just the word eToro, or whatever you want, as long as it includes eToro. So yes, be sure to comment down below with the word eToro, and let's do the challenge. Let's have fun. Okay, so you can see here we see, hang on, green to red. Yeah. So my last example I'm going to give you guys today is bus. With this kind of risk transfer methods. Sound like Boris Johnson then. With methods.